Good morning, everyone. My name is Nirvana, and I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, which is located in America, if you didn't know. And I just wanted to make this video today to talk about Soka University of America, which is a liberal arts university located in Aliso Viejo, otherwise known as like Orange County, in California. And when I was first applying to the university, there were so few videos about the school. Like, I remember when I first applied, there was, I think, only 1 or 2 YouTube videos of actual students. Like, there were some campus tours made by staff and that sort of thing, but I really wanted, the real experience from the side of a student. So I thought today I would make this video to show you what it was like. So before we start, I just wanted to briefly explain the places that I've studied in terms of university. So I actually changed universities from Soka University of America, but I still really do love that school so much. But I just want to clarify before I start this video that I did not graduate from there. I just spent 1 year there. So basically in August or September, my first semester at Soka University, I started in fall, and I spent 2 semesters in Soka University of America. And during the second semester, I actually applied to the sister university, which is located in Tokyo, Japan. So I changed universities. So I did, 2 semesters at Soka University of America, and then I changed to Soka University of Japan. And I've done 3 semesters so far at Soka University of Japan. And then I decided I want to, travel some more. So I'm actually on exchange right now to Taiwan for 2 semesters. And then after I finish this, I go back to Japan to graduate, do my final semester. So just to summarize, I did 2 semesters in America, 3 semesters in Tokyo, Japan, 2 semesters in Taiwan, and then 1 semester after this where I go back to graduate in Japan. So I just wanted to, clarify that before we start. But I thought it would still be really useful to make this video to help some people out. So first off, I wanted to introduce the majors that are offered at the university. So currently I have a list right here: environmental studies, humanities, international studies, life science, and social and behavioral sciences. So I personally actually studied humanities, which involved a lot of reading and writing. Every week we were, working hard on essays and really growing our skills. And the class sizes at this school are insanely small compared to other schools. So the smallest class I remember was, I think, 4 students, 4 or 3 students. And the largest class I had was a health science class. And that was, I think, at most 50 students. I think it was less, but at most 50. So it was definitely really small class sizes. And some people prefer that. Some people like small classes, some people like big. But it really allows, a lot of time for discussion and really having a lot of dialogue about what we're doing in class rather than just being given a presentation and writing notes, So that was my experience in my major, or I think they call it faculties. But basically in other classes or majors, for example, science, I did attend some science classes, and I think those are more lectures, lecture for a portion, or usually it's a video lecture beforehand, and then in class we have a packet, and then you really go through and work with a partner to solve those problems. But I think no matter what your major is, you're definitely going to have a small class size, because the school itself it's pretty big school, but there's not a ton of students. I believe there's less than 1,000 students, it's a few hundred, and a few hundred students from first year, second year, third year, fourth year, plus the master's students, which are also studying there, but there's not like a ton of those master's students. I believe it's, a pretty small portion. So next up is the facilities that are located on campus. I think there's lots and lots of options, so first of all, if you like to work out, there is a massive gym. It's like multi-story treadmills, weight rooms, like I think it's called racquetball or paddleball. I don't know, I forgot, to be honest. But the one where you're in the glass room and you're hitting the really hard ball and then it bounces back, whatever that's called. They have those rooms, treadmills. They also have lots of other options, plus a swimming pool, which is super great. And there's also a lifeguard there, so that's wonderful. And then there is a library, which is multi-stories. And I think most of the books are in English, I'm pretty sure, but they have some sections which offer like books in other languages, like Chinese, French, Japanese, and Spanish. And I'll get to that later on, but you have to study a language at the school, so I think that's why. And there's also, what's really cool, is a 24-hour study room. So this is located kind of inside the library, but like on the outside portion, where basically, as the name suggests, you can tap your card and go in 24 hours a day. And then you can go in there to study, and people actually sleep in there. I've seen a lot of people sleep there for multiple days, even though they have a dormitory. They have a place to sleep, but they're just so stressed about exams or things like that. It's usually the bridge students, actually. So basically, if someone's English is not, up to the level, like the requirement, up to the English level requirements to enter the school, you can do a 1-year program or a summer program to improve your English, which is like a super rigorous program. And I think it's usually those students that are in the 24-hour study room because they have tests and tests and tests, and they're working so hard to improve their English. So yeah, you'll see them, I think. And so there's that. And then they also have the writing center for help writing your papers. So they will not like write the paper for you, of course, but basically you can like come in there with your essay and be like, I really need help with grammar or adding more advanced vocabulary, things like that. So that's a great resource. And they sometimes have snacks, or they have little events where they'll give out boba if you come and work on your essay, which is super fun. And also there's the cafeteria. So the cafeteria is pretty big, and it gets really busy during lunch because there's a period of the day where everyone has no classes, like nobody has class, so everyone's going and it's kind of a crazy line. So try to get there early, maybe, if you can. But basically every day they have a variety of new different foods. So sometimes they'll have like Mexican foods, or like Japanese food, or like food from different cultures, and people can put in requests for different cuisine that you want in there. And then they also have stuff that's always the same. So in the morning they always have miso soup and oatmeal, and in the evenings they almost always have ice cream, and they have sprinkles and all these toppings. And they always have the sandwich bar, which you can make like scrambled eggs and stuff, but in the evening you can make burgers or teriyaki chicken. So lots of different food options, which is nice. And then we also have the Lion's Den. So the Lion's Den is above the cafeteria. Like you kind of like walk around out back. And I don't know if it's 24 hours. I don't think so. I think it has a closing time. I'm not sure. But basically it's a small space for studying. And then they also have a snack and drink bar, which starts like I think a few weeks after campus opens, because they need people to work there, so they hire new people. But you can get different drinks and candy. And then also, at least when I was there, I don't think they've changed it, you get a certain amount of money on your card, like $50 or something like that, I'm not sure, where every semester you can use that to go and buy snacks or drinks, but you cannot like accumulate money on the card per semester, if that makes sense. So if you have, let's say, $50 in the card, you cannot the next semester have 100. Like, that doesn't that's not how it works. So I've heard there's some people who like try to accumulate over a few semesters and then they find out that's not how that works. So try not to be that person. And then also we have the co-ed dormitories. So when you first come as a freshman, there's the Sunset and the Sunrise dormitories. So like left versus right of this one path. And they're pretty nice, I think, you know. They're pretty spacious rooms, and then you have one roommate. And you and your roommate have your own like toilet and shower and sink, and then you have like wardrobe, desk, bed, which comes with a mattress, which is nice. Because in Taiwan, they don't give you a mattress. Or in Japan either. So the mattress is nice. I should have been more thankful. So yeah, I like the dorms. I think as you every year that you go on, the dorms get better. So the senior dormitories are really nice. They're like big glass buildings, and I think you kind of like have a separation between your roommate, because in the first year you're in the same big room, but as you go on, there's a door in between, which is kind of nice. You'll understand when you see it. So I really liked that. And also, let's move on to financial aid. So the financial aid is super amazing at this school, especially compared to other schools within America, or California especially. Like, you could go to a school where one semester costs over $75,000. Whereas at Soka University of America, they really try their best to help you and really work hard to make it so like the school is affordable for lots of different people. And I think they recently came out with a statement that said if there's families that make under $90,000 a year, then they will have a free tuition. But I would double check that, because obviously I am not, a financial advisor at the school or anything like that. So double check. And I think you can just like reach out to the school and be like, hey, here's our finances. Can you like look over this? Like, how can I get the most support possible? And the school is really helpful with that sort of thing. I got so much financial aid, which was amazing. And I think if I told you the amount I paid per year, it was just phenomenal. Like, it was amazing how little I had to pay to include tuition, housing, food, everything. Yeah, that is actually one thing. You have to live on campus and you have to get the meal plan. And if you're an international student, I believe you have to get health insurance. Like, you have to pay for that. But I think there's some ways that you're able to get out of that if you have a specific reason. Like, one of my friends, she told them that she was working at the time of the cafeteria being open, so that's why she didn't want the meal plan. I don't know. Discuss with them if you want to, but I think they are pretty kind of like strict. They really want people like live in the dorms together, eat together, that sort of thing, So this is a big part of the university, I think, is friends, because I had such an amazing experience making so many friends. You're meeting people from around the entire world, Japan, South Korea, like Nigeria, Uganda, Russia, like all these different places from around the world, and you're just having dialogue and you're talking and you're in the same classes together and you're hearing so many different perspectives, So I think it was so amazing to just have all these friends that I would have never met if I never went to that university. And the staff as well is from all over the world. So I think that was really awesome. And since it's such a small amount of students, I think everyone, comes together so much. Like, it's a very big tradition at the school to have surprise birthday parties, and usually the Lion Den, or somewhere in the dorm living room, something like that. And I think if it's such a big school, you're you know, you don't know who's new, you don't know like who most people are, but at that school you almost know everyone by name. You see them in the cafeteria or in clubs or sports or in class, and you know when someone's new. Like when the fall semester starts again, you're like, oh my gosh, like welcome, how's it going, that sort of thing. So there's an amazing community there, and I think you can find who you want to be close with. Like you can find people who like to party and, you know, go to nearby schools to party for the weekend, like bigger schools, or people who like to study or go on long walks. Like there's a hiking club. You can go on lots of hikes or whatever you want. There are so many phenomenal people there. And I think if you just find your right group, then you'll really enjoy it. Like I had a group where we played badminton on the weekends, or we studied, like I would study Japanese while they studied French or something like that. And we had like little dance parties in our room. So I think, yeah, you can really find the awesome people for you. And then also there is actually a free shuttle. So it leaves, you know, like certain periods throughout the day, but pretty often. And basically it goes to a few different stops. So you can go to Target or different restaurants, and then you can also apply, like request a few days in advance for a specific location. I think it's within 5 miles, I believe, which is super awesome because then you don't have to have a car. And occasionally they'll do a big bus and they'll take everyone to the beach because it's pretty nearby. And yeah, you can do lots of things off campus if you want to, or just stay on campus. Like a majority of the time I would stay on campus, or some weekends I would go home and visit my family. And it was just super fun. I think, yeah, super cool. So we're getting to the end of the video, and this is one of the most exciting parts for me, and a big reason why I chose the school is their study abroad program, where you can study French, Spanish, Japanese, and Chinese for the first few years, and then your third year you go abroad to a place that speaks that language, which is super awesome and so cool. So when I went, I studied Japanese because I just really wanted to go to Japan, and I loved it. Actually, at first I did not like it so much because I started studying Japanese and I was struggling so much. I just could not keep, I was just studying wrong, and you know, it's kind of hard just suddenly learning a new character system and learning how to speak in front of other people and all this stuff. And I just, sometimes I would just like start crying in class, you know, like to myself, you know, like secretly. Like I would just feel so frustrated. I was like, what? You know, there was actually a lot of people who were struggling, mainly the people who chose Chinese and Japanese. Within the first, I think, month or two or something like that, like a lot of people were like, oh, this was the, you know, a big mistake basically. So the next semester a lot of people switched from Japanese and Chinese to Spanish, because they knew some previously, or they just wanted to start a new language, because they found it was really difficult learning the new characters and tones and all that stuff. So I do recommend that if you are to choose a language, especially Chinese and Japanese, you do some, you know, studying beforehand, and you really try to see if you really like the language. Like I bet a lot of those people like the language, but it's really difficult, you know. So yeah, so that's my advice to you. But over the break, I really studied a lot, and I came back, my teacher was like, wow, you've improved so much. And I was so happy to hear that, because we we did not get along the best the first semester, because you know, I'm just a sensitive girly, and it kind of hurts when your teacher says something that's not super nice. Anyway, but basically, yeah, just try to choose the best, you know, teacher possible for you, as well as, like, You know, find your language learning technique that you really like, you know, because there's so many out there. Some people like the little flashcards, or some people prefer practicing speaking with someone. Just find the best, you know, method. And yeah, so really think about which language you want to choose, and then really, you know, work hard. And they offer tutoring too, so you know, go to the tutoring and just work hard at it, and then you'll do well. And then you'll go study abroad, and you can go to Tokyo or wherever you want, Senegal, Paris, lots of different opportunities, which is awesome. So I think I am going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I have been actually planning for a while to make this video, but you know, I'm just not really sure what to include or what people want to hear. And you know, there's so much different information about the school and things that I've experienced, so I was like, how should I fit it in? But I know that if you're applying to the school or whatever your plans are, master's, undergrad, you will succeed. I believe in you, and I hope that you attend Soka University of America. It is really one of the best schools I've ever seen, that I've ever attended, and I just love it so much. So I really hope that you have an awesome day, and good luck!